About the Lucas Classic, first time you rode Mind Your Biscuits in a race.
He ran a great race that day. Sat right off the pace. Got a little rank going into first turn, but he got bounced around. Once he got down the backside, he settled nicely. And when I asked him for a run coming into stretch, he really kicked on. I had plenty of horse left. I really got into him.
When you're on a horse like that, can you tell the difference between a Grade 1 horse like that who's run out, 4 million or whatever, and normal horses?
Yeah, he just got so much class. He does everything so effortlessly, and just the way he carries himself, you can really tell. He knows he's a good horse. It's incredible. It's something I've always dreamed of, and just to be able to find one like him is truly special.
One in company with a horse named Imperative. He's made $2.9 million, so pretty expensive horses there, but broke off a little bit slower than we wanted. But other than that, the work went according to plan. He got the last half mile at 47-1 when he came up to him. Galloped out real strong and took dirt. He's sitting on go. Fortunately, it wasn't a big deal of any kind of work. He's ready, so we just want the race to be here. But we'll pre-enter in 2 races, and we'll make our decision when it gets closer. If you really look at it closely, if XY Jet doesn't go, there's no speed. Promises Fulfilled ends up in the sprint, and there's no speed in the sprint. Promises Fulfilled becomes lone speed. There's nobody else in the race that can run with him early. If Promises Fulfilled goes from the mile to the sprint, it means there's no speed in the mile. So it kind of makes the Classic as the one, ironically enough, that has the most kind of speed in the race. But we'll see what happens. I think XY Jet's next work will be a big one for the moving parts. I think really if you look at it, the sprint is a competitive race, but there's not a lot of speed in the race. Our major stuff is done. Like I said, we know he loves this track, and we think whatever race we run in, we're going to be one of the horses to beat. We want to put him in the race that gives him the best chance to win. Like I said, speed has a lot to do with it. If these races set up how I think they're going to set up, the Classic has the most speed in front, which makes it a good race for us. But that's going to be the ultimate thing. It's just how the race is set up.
At this point, it's talking about the Classic. Just sort of your thoughts on the complexion of the race.
I think it's a wide open race. Right now, I think at last count, we had 20 horses that we're thinking about pre-nominating between, cross entries and stuff like that. Obviously, only 14 will run. But, I think it's a wide open race. On numbers, we're the best horse in the race. And, people think that we can't go a mile and a quarter. And, if that's where we end up, I guess we'll find out. If you go back and you look at some of his races, you look at the Malibu, where he's laying third off Jazzy Times and Sharp Azteca, going 7/8 and wins that race. The Belmont Sprint Championship, when he beat Awesome Slew, same kind of thing. He's laying third or fourth early on. So, he's so tactical and he's so kind. The key with him is just kind of getting out of the gate and getting him in a good position. The Classic allows us not to be so dreadfully far back. If you watch the head-on replay of the Breeders' Cup the last 2 years, we're so far back. It's tough to do what we did. And, we made up more ground than any other horse in the dirt on both years. And, last year, the short stretch at Del Mar really, really hampered us. I thought, going into it, we were probably the best horse in the race. And, this year, you got a long stretch at Churchill Downs. You don't have to go to California. The Californians always have that home court advantage. We lost the last 2 Breeders' Cups to a California-based horse, Dre Fong and Roy H. So here at Churchill, I think it's more of a level playing field. And these California horses have to get on a van and a plane, and they got to come here. And, we have that advantage of having already been here and got to race over the track. So we think there's a lot of things going in our favor right now. And, we're going to sleep well the next 15 days.